Why has buying a home become so difficult? Hello everyone, I'm Alex Montgomery, and welcome back to English Talks. Today we're discussing a question that millions of people ask themselves every day. Why are houses so expensive? For many young adults, buying a home feels less like a goal and more like a dream that keeps moving farther away. Perhaps you've experienced this yourself. You browse online listings and find that a modest house costs 2, 3, or even 4 times what you expected. You wonder how previous generations managed to buy homes in their 20s while many people today struggle to do so in their 30s or 40s. This isn't happening in just one country. Whether you're listening from California, Texas, London, Paris, Dublin, Berlin, Madrid, or Lisbon, housing affordability has become one of the biggest economic and social issues of our time. So today we're going to explore what happened, why it happened, and what the future might look like. Let's begin. If we go back several decades, homeownership was considered a normal milestone of adulthood. A person could graduate, find a stable job, save for a few years, and eventually buy a house. In the United States during the 1980s and 1990s, many families purchased homes using a single income. In Europe, housing was also relatively affordable compared with earnings. Today, the situation looks very different. Across the United States, the median home price remains above $400,000, while mortgage rates have stayed above 6% for much of the last year. These two factors together have dramatically increased monthly housing payments. In some parts of California, average homes cost well over $700,000, and in major cities the numbers can be even higher. Meanwhile, wages have not increased at the same pace. The result is simple. Homes have become more expensive much faster than incomes. But why? The answer begins with the 2008 financial crisis. Many people remember the collapse of the housing market. Banks failed. Millions lost their homes. Construction companies stopped building. The industry entered survival mode. What few people realized at the time was that the slowdown in construction would have consequences lasting nearly 20 years. After 2008, builders became extremely cautious. For years, fewer homes were built than the number of families being created. Imagine a city where 10,000 new households are formed every year, but only 6,000 homes are built. At first, the shortage seems manageable, but year after year, the gap grows. Eventually, there simply are not enough homes available. This is exactly what happened. Recent studies estimate that the United States now faces a housing shortage exceeding 4 million homes. Europe faces similar challenges. The European Investment Bank estimates that the European Union needs millions of additional housing units to meet demand. But housing shortages are only part of the story. Another major factor is zoning. Now, zoning may sound boring, but it affects where people can live. In many cities, local regulations make it difficult to build apartments, townhouses, or higher density housing. Residents often oppose new developments near their neighborhoods. They worry about traffic, noise, parking, or changes to the character of their community. The result is that many cities desperately need more housing but make it very difficult to build it. Economists have repeatedly pointed to restrictive zoning laws as one of the key reasons housing remains expensive. Then came the pandemic. During COVID-19, central banks reduced interest rates to historic lows. Suddenly, borrowing money became extremely cheap. Millions of people rushed to buy homes. At the same time, remote work allowed many workers to move away from expensive city centers. Demand exploded. Prices followed. The average homeowner who purchased a property with a mortgage rate of 3% now faces a dilemma. If they sell and buy another home, they may have to accept a mortgage rate above 6%. Many simply choose not to move. This phenomenon has reduced the number of homes available for sale and further tightened the market. Construction costs have also risen sharply. Building a home today is much more expensive than it was 15 years ago. Materials cost more. Labor costs more. Land costs more. Insurance costs more. Regulations have become more complex. Builders pass these costs on to buyers. As a result, even newly constructed homes are often unaffordable for average families. Let's talk about young people. For Millennials and Generation Z, the housing market feels fundamentally different from what their parents experienced. Imagine a young couple in their early 30s. Both have university degrees. Both work full-time. Together they earn a respectable income. Yet when they approach a bank, they discover they need tens of thousands of dollars just for a down payment. Even if they manage to save the money, monthly mortgage payments consume a large portion of their income. Many are forced to continue renting. Others move back in with parents. Some delay marriage or having children. Housing has become more than an economic issue. It now affects major life decisions. Research across Europe and North America shows that high housing costs are changing patterns of family formation and social mobility. The crisis is particularly visible in certain cities. Take London. Take Dublin. Take Paris. Take San Francisco. Take New York. These cities attract talent, investment, and jobs. But because land is limited and demand is enormous, housing prices continue to rise. Workers increasingly face long commutes or must share housing with roommates well into adulthood. In Europe, households spent on average around 19% of disposable income on housing in 2024. But in many major cities, the burden is significantly higher. Some countries are experiencing especially severe pressure. In Greece, housing costs consume a very large share of household income. In Portugal and Ireland, prices have risen dramatically over the last decade. Across the European Union, house prices have increased by more than 50% since 2015. So what can be done? There is no single solution. Experts generally agree that increasing housing supply is essential. More homes must be built. Governments may need to simplify zoning rules, accelerate permits, and encourage construction near transportation networks. Affordable housing programs can help lower-income families. Tax incentives can encourage development. Infrastructure investments can make smaller cities more attractive places to live. At the individual level, flexibility can help. Some people choose more affordable regions rather than major metropolitan areas. Others continue renting while investing their savings elsewhere. Some families explore multi-generational living arrangements. None of these options are perfect, but they may provide financial breathing room. The truth is that housing affordability is unlikely to improve overnight. The shortages developed over many years and will take years to resolve. However, understanding the causes helps us understand the possible solutions. Housing isn't simply about buildings. It's about opportunity. It's about stability. It's about whether young people can imagine a future for themselves. And it's about whether economic progress remains accessible to ordinary families. The housing crisis may be one of the defining challenges of the 21st century, but it is also one of the most solvable if governments, businesses, and communities work together. Thank you for joining me today on English Talks. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I'm Alex Montgomery. See you next time.